A standalone animation is an animation where you specify yourself the target element that is going to be animated. If you remember in the last lecture, we didn't do that. We just stuffed the animation in a rectangle component and we said what property we want to animate. We're going to do things differently in this lecture. Let's go to Qt Creator and do that. Here we are in Qt Creator. We're going to create our new project. It's a Qt Quick application. We call it Standalone Animation Demo. Save it in the usual location. Hit Next. Do the usual. Choose your kit here and finish. We want to change the title here. And we want to do exactly what we did in the last lecture, but do things a little bit differently. We're going to put in our container rectangle. ID is going to be container. It's going to fill the parent. And it's going to be beige, the background. Inside, we're going to have another rectangle. ID is going to be contained. Width is going to be 100. Height is going to be 100. The color is going to be Dodger Blue. And it is going to start at the next value of 50 and the Y value of 50. Now we want to specify our animation. We're going to say number animation. The element that we want to animate is this rectangle here, and we specify it using the target property. So we can say target contained rect. This is our target. The property that we want to animate, you specify it using the property. You specify it in quotes like this. We want to animate the x-axis of this rectangle. And we specify the usual. The duration is going to be 2 seconds. And we want to animate to the location of 5:30. Okay, we have our animation. Let's run the application and see what we have. The first thing you see is that unlike the animations that we did in the last lecture, this one doesn't start automatically. You have to start it yourself explicitly. Let's come back to the code, and we want to put in a mouse area that is going to allow us to start the animation. We're going to go down the rectangle, say mouse area, and course fill parent. We want it to fill the beige rectangle, and when it is pressed, we want to do something, and we want to do something when it is released. We want to give this animation an ID. We call it X animation ID. And when we press, we want to start the animation. So you can copy the ID here and say start like this, and stop the animation when you release your mouse. We're going to stop the animation. Let's run and see if our logic here works. I press, the animation goes, I release, the animation stops. This is the behavior we have. And notice this syntax we are using here to work with this animation. This is what I want you to see. Okay, this animation is really independent. And for it to run, you have to start it yourself. You also have to specify the target element that you want to animate. And the rest is really what we had before. And you can go to the documentation as usual and look at the properties that are available to you when you want to work with this thing. You see that it is a child animation or property animation, and you can see all the properties that you can play with this animation. The thing we just did here, you can do with the other animations that we have seen as well. For example, you can do a rotation animation. Let's select it here, ID, M rotation, animation. I want to target, contained, rect ID. the property that I want to animate is rotation. I want it to animate up to, let's say, 2000 degrees. It's going to spin a couple of times, and the duration is going to be 2000 as well, 2 seconds. We can run the application, and you see that if I press, the rotation is not applied, and that is because we did not start this animation. I just wanted you to see how easy it is to forget to start these animations. So you start it like this and stop it like this. Now if we run, it's going to run if we press, and it's going to stop if we release as usual. And this is really all I had to share with you in this lecture. A different way, if you will, to work with animations by explicitly specifying the target and the property that you want to animate on a QML element. In the next lecture, we're going to work with asyncs. I'll see you there.